Quick show of hands. How many of you are bootstrapped here? Nice. How many of you are funded? Okay. How many of these you guys do you repent now? Jokes apart. So, hey, I'm Pallav Nadani. I run a company called Fusion Charts. We make JavaScript data visualization components. Been doing it for the last 13 years. Started in Calcutta. We have around 23,000 customers in 118 countries, and we don't have any person outside India. Entire team is split between Calcutta and Bangalore. So, a lot of people, like, I get into this unidimensional argument. You know what? I'm proudly bootstrapped, or I'm proudly funded. You know what? Your customers don't give a fish about it. As long as you're delivering a solution, you're solving a problem for them, it's at the right price point, and the customer knows you're going to do it for a long time to come. They don't really care. So the decision to bootstrap versus funding is a very personal decision. Do you want to exit a company for less than $50 million? Do you want to be in a niche where money cannot drive you faster? Bootstrap it. But if you think you have an opportunity to scale it up and you can really make it big, by all means, go raise venture funding. It's never an either-or situation. Even bootstrap companies, when they start off and later when they want to find scale, they go and raise funding. But today I'm going to be speaking about bootstrapping more. So bootstrapping is also funding, but the most cheap and effective way of funding by customers. When your VC funds you, he funds you for the future. When a customer funds you, he funds for today, the value that you're adding. And he is much better at validating the product, idea, pain point, solution than a VC. So bootstrapping is also funding by customers. When you're bootstrapping, you can't start in a very big market with a lot of incumbent big players and try to chip into their market because it's going to be extremely tough. Because any solution which you make will be compared to the big players who have a big set of features, and you'll be like, hey, you know what, I don't have A, B, C, D, E, and the guy will say, hey, why should I use you? So why don't you find a niche and start a small solution in that where you can become a thought leader, you can conquer the market, and then you can move to adjacent market. So, whoa, where's it going back? So start with a small market where you can be a thought leader, and then you move to the next market. So when we started charting, at that point in time, 2002, there were not a lot of interactive charts on the web. So we created this category, very simple, create simple charts which work with the web applications and sell them. Which brings me to my second, keeps on going back. Okay. Don't aim for perfection, especially when you're bootstrapped. So Guy Kawasaki had a very famous saying that if your first version is not crappy, this. Okay. Don't aim. I have no idea what's happening here. Yeah, don't aim for perfection. If your first version isn't crappy, you are shipping too late. Okay. So keep iterating. So when I first shipped out Fusion Charts, it had all of six chart types: column, line, pie, area, bar, and donut. That's all the chart types I knew in the world. And I started selling it, and people adopted it. Today, we have more than 90 chart types and 900 maps. Each new version, we kept on adding more things. Today, when I actually look at my version of the product, I really think, how the fuck did people actually pay me money for this? But you know what? They actually paid, and we learned from it, and we kept on iterating. Now this has to go back. Especially when we started Fusion Charts, it was me for the first 3 years alone. And if I'm doing the product, if I'm doing the website, if I'm doing the sales, if I'm doing the marketing, I can only scale up as much if I have to be involved in every single thing. So when I started Fusion Charts, I said, you know what? The first aim is, how do I cut myself out from anything which can be automated? Which means if people have to look at pre-sales demos or read about the product, I should not have to get on a phone call. So create all those collaterals, a beautiful website, exhaustive documentation, a lot of demos which people can look up, videos, so that whenever they come to the website, 99% of the time, they don't even have to talk to me. They can look at the videos, they can look at the documentation, they can try out the product, which is an unlimited trial, they can get started, they can use it, then they go to the website, pay for it. So out of the 23,000 customers we have had in the last 13 years, we have, or personally, I have not spoken to more than 500 customers. The rest, 22,500, automatic. US President Barack Obama, automatic. Facebook, automatic. LinkedIn, automatic. I go out partying on a Saturday night, I come back and see Monday, Facebook is a customer. Great. Somebody's got to help me here. The only validation if you're a bootstrap company is dollars. If you're not making money, it's a hobby project. You can choose to defer revenues, but you cannot choose to ignore it. So, second mistake, don't start saying that, hey, you know what, I'm going to target this 100 million people and get to 1 million. As a single person, you cannot go and do that. You got to say, I'm one person or 3 person, how many people can I call up today, how many articles can I write today, how many people will it impact? Is it going to be 10 today and 20 tomorrow? If yes, think, out of those 10, how many will convert? So when we started, my first goal was, let's get to 100 customers. And the way I was thinking is, to reach 100 customers, how many developers would I have to reach out to? What are the different channels available? How do I write articles, post in directories, which these developers would read? And every day, my target was to sell 1 license each. Then it became 2, then it became 3. So in a span of 6 months, we were able to get 100 customers. And then every single year on year, we kept on increasing 1,000 customers, 2,000, 3,000, by being more shameless, which is the next point. And gentle, okay. You gotta be gentle with this. Whole lot of shameless things, like I'm one of those cheap idiots who got paid for my own marketing. So there were developer sites where you go and write articles about interesting, innovative technologies, and I used to go write about my own products in different ways. So not only would I promote my own product, but those guys would also pay me money for writing articles. Any directory, go and keep pushing in every single category. Wherever there's a data and visualization, push it in the category. When we know that this directory is getting us some hits, then pay to get to the top of the directory. Bloggers who are writing about, hey, you know what, top 10 data visualization component or top 10 JavaScript library, if they did not include us, pay through it to get our way in. Eventually, fake it till you make it, and that helped. Speak at events, PR, make journalists your best friend. So whenever they need a tidbit on one of the aspects of your industry or an anecdote or a quote, they should be calling you up, and you should pick it up in 3 rings and give a nice romantic PR quote. That helps. Email marketing, great. Now there's a lot of spam regulation and rules around that, but still you can find other email directories for your target audience. So for example, if we are selling to developers and there is a developer site which has a lot of target audience, I would pay them money so that they reach out on my behalf to their audience. I'm not spamming them, that's the site which is spamming them, but I get customers out of that. Interesting point here. So when we started out, this was in Calcutta. I did not have a talent pool. Nobody even knew what a software product is. Most of the guys were services. I had never done hiring before. So my top 2 guys in Calcutta office, and I kid you not, were hired at $100 a month and $150 a month, who are still with us. Today, obviously, they make 30, 40, 50 times out of that. But these were young guys. None of them had a technology degree. One of the guys was not even a graduate, but they were hungry, and they built the best product they could. And not only did they build the product, they did documentation, they did support, so they were kind of my pseudo entrepreneurs internally. As and when we scaled up, we moved from generalist to specialist. But by that time, we had figured out, so for example, if I'm doing support and he's doing support, if he has got a better way, we learned, hey, you know what, let's put all these support principles in a support Bible so that the specialist, when he comes in, he's able to absorb from that and we can build a structure around it. Same for sales. I was selling for the first 6, 7 years, so we hired our first salesperson after 10,000 customers because our company was very marketing driven. But even on those 6, 7 years of the little sales call that we had to go through or talk to the customer, we put out a sales Bible internally talking about what are the kind of questions customers are asking, how should we pitch about it, what's the pricing model, so that later when we built the sales team and got in specialists, they did not have to experiment. We experimented and we gave them a ready framework to start using it. What's this? Yep. Another important point, self-congratulatory metrics. Like if you're a B2B site, you're tracking visitors on your site, time spent on your website, that's just to make yourself happy. We call them vanity metrics. When we started out, we were tracking downloads of our product, and we thought that's a good metric to track because the more number of downloads, the more usage it will be, and the more sales we'll get. Little did we know that people in India and China do not buy as much. They'll download the product, they will keep using it, but they would not pay you. So we realized that download as a metric was not acting as a good proxy for revenues. So then we had to do multiple iterations around it till we figured out the sweet point for us is people who have an intent to pay and they contact sales or directly buy. If they directly buy, they don't even go into our sales loop, but if they have to purchase, let's say high-priced or an OEM license, they have to come and contact us. So all the efforts went into ensuring that we get more people through that funnel, and that has phenomenally scaled well. So whenever you're building a metric and you're trying to drive the business through metric, your metric should be the one single most important actionable item which is related to your revenue, your growth, customer satisfaction, which ensures that if that metric is to the up and to the right, your business is doing good. Obviously, there will be sub-metrics for internal team, but as a CEO, that's one metric you should always look at. Spend on good chairs, machines, good coffee, good food, good beer. Don't buy lavish furniture, don't buy lavish offices. All our offices are still rented out apart from the first one, which I actually bought for $16,000, which we ran in for like 4 years, 20 people. After that, we have never bought an office. Everything is rented because you never know how fast you're going to scale or when you're going to shut down. Get software for free. There are enough and tons of partnerships, Microsoft BizSpark, Adobe programs, this program, that program. You got to go and find that. There are a lot of discounts which are happening on the web. If you go to, there are sites like GetApp, F6S, where if you go and search for a specific category of software, you'll have 50% discount. go and do barter. At one point in time, we needed a project management software. We did not want to spend money on that. We found a project management software which did not have a Gantt chart. We had a Gantt chart. We went to him and said, hey, you know what? We'll give you our Gantt chart. You give you a project management software. Worked well for both of us. Then there are a lot of competitions which happen. You've got to keep an eye open on that. So for example, if you want to buy a software, put a Google alert on that. When a lot of these companies, they give out free software licenses during competition. Let's say if you have a plan to buy that within the next 3 months, and if he's hosting a competition, if he's asking you to write a blog post, detailed analysis, whatsoever, spend 3-4 hours, do that, and you get a free license of that software. Open source, try and use open source as much as possible. This will kill my business, but that hurts. It doesn't, it helps you. Barter, as I already said. So since I'm doing good on time, I'll push a bonus tip. Bootstrapping is great, right? Gets you started, gets you the MVP, gets you the first set of customers. But just because you're bootstrapped in the initial stage does not mean you have to continue doing it. If you got to push the pedal, if you got to go raise money, there's no shame in that. Go ahead and do that, but have a clear intention why. If you think the market is getting commoditized, you want to make some money, sell out, there's no shame in that as well. Do not be emotionally connected with your business. Have a passion for the problem and the solution. But the moment you see, hey, you know what, there's a better opportunity, or you want to do something else, feel free to sell out. There's no harm. Second bonus tip. Bootstrapping is hard. It's insanely freaking hard, especially when you're trying to get to the MVP, you're trying to fight the government regulations, you're trying to retain that employee, and then you have 100 different problems altogether. You do not know how to prioritize the right thing at the right time, and it burns you out. The only way you can avoid this is, because you can't go and talk to your employees, have a peer group of entrepreneurs who are bootstrapping, or friends and family who you can go out and talk to, have a lot of beers, and have a passion outside work. That's it. Thank you.